Hey guys, and keep it back for another episode of the SlateCast. Today we're talking about one of my favorite things, which is gaming. We're talking to Grant from over at Undead Blocks. This is a game that I first played, I think, NFT London last year. Absolutely loved it. Love the vibe. Definitely my sort of thing. Let's run the intro and let's get Grant in here and let's talk about gaming. 1 second. Grant, how are you?
Mr. Crypto Slate, doing very well. Appreciate you having me. I know you first we connected in London at NFT London. You played Undead Blocks. We had a great time. Super excited to give you guys updates on all the progress, talk about web3 gaming. Just happy to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
No, thanks for joining us. Yeah, I think that was definitely one of the better things of NFT London because it was a good event, but trying to have a crypto event across 8 stories and like 4 rooms on each floor was a nightmare. I think by the time I found it to the top floor, it wasn't the first day, and I found the gaming room, and I was like, okay, I'm done now. I'm staying here and I'm trying these games out that I hadn't played. I played Undead Blocks, I played some Illuvium, their sort of battle arena mode. It was absolutely great. So, what's your vibe around where Web3 gaming is at the moment? Obviously, that rose to popularity with kind of Axie Infinity and the play to earn movement. A lot of people were just talking about PokerStarter gaming offline. I remember Daniel, the founder of PokerStarter, said that he'd actually banned the term play to earn within the business and wanted to focus only on play and earn. I noticed that on your website, you have the statement play to earn is undead. Obviously, the game is Undead Blocks. That's a bit of fun. But the first question I'd like to ask, like, where do you see the space and what's your view on the difference between kind of play to earn and play and earn?
Yeah, I think that any decentralized yield farmer is in big trouble right now. I think that's what you would probably brand Axie as. People are not playing that game for fun. They're clicking the mouse. They're earning SLP. The problem is this guy Mavis was collecting all that ETH, selling pixies for ETH, and then issuing you SLP for your matches. And I think that's where a lot of games get into trouble. This two token economy, this dual system economy where you take in one currency, you give out another. That's not working. Clearly, it's not. When we say play to earn is undead, I think that sustainable play to earn can be executed as a proportion of revenue share that you're generating from your business model. From our side, we have a very unique proposition with the weapon skins. They sell very well in games like CSGO, Fortnite, Call of Duty. You just need a player base that actually cares and wants to care and wants to buy a cosmetic. Really, Undead Blocks is more of a social game. I think that's where Web3 games will thrive. I know there are a lot of esports orgs out there as well, but I think you're going to need a game that's going to have to hit the masses. And to hit the masses, you have to hit many different demographics. Like our ethos is chain agnostic, skill agnostic, platform agnostic. We're on PC and Mac right now. We're going to be on mobile in a couple months. You don't need a wallet to play the game. You don't even have to participate in the crypto side at all if you don't want to. And then skill agnostic, anyone can play. It's very simple to just pick up a gun and start shooting. So that's really where we see it. In terms of where I see Web3 gaming, we're very early. I mean, if you went to the grocery store and asked how many people own Bitcoin, you're probably getting 5 out of 100. And if you ask them how many of you are going to purchase an NFT on using your MetaMask, swapping X for Y, you're probably at 1, maybe max. So I think it's very early days. I think there's a lot of infrastructure being built right now that's going to help us long term. And I really think that being an early mover in this space is going to be very beneficial for Undead Blocks and very beneficial for every other Web3 game that is currently building besides us.
I couldn't agree more. In my experience, gaming is the space that's pushing crypto, or let's just call it Web3, forward at the fastest rate due to its ability to onboard users in a different way. Like, as you say, you can't join DeFi without a wallet because it doesn't make sense, but you can play a game without a wallet and kind of find those blockchain elements later as you start to play and enjoy the game. Is there anything specifically that you feel you've helped kind of push the industry forward with in terms of that user experience part?
I would say, honestly, it's opening people's eyes on how much money they're spending in video games and how little value they're getting. I used to coin this term, and it's probably a little off color, for what we had, how we're moving forward. But I used to call like traditional video gaming like a gaming brothel. You pay for entertainment. Like this is something where we can actually
And you're
have
renting as
players.
well.
And yeah, exactly. And you're leasing the assets in the game. You don't actually own them. And I think that's where the power of blockchain, whatever blockchain that might be. I mean, there are, hundreds of blockchains out there that are pursuing Web3 games. And I think the reason why is because they know that Web3 gaming has the opportunity to onboard these players that are buying these digital cosmetics, but they don't actually own anything. If there was a kid out there that gets the Goku skin in Fortnite, the Dragon Ball Z skin, and they were able to sell it for 50, 60, 70 bucks, I think that changes the game. They're using these soft currencies like V-Bucks. I mean, V-Bucks is a soft crypto. You just doesn't exchange value, but it's not a US dollar, but it's pegged to a specific value based off of what the player, sees it inside of the game. So I think that there's a target demographic that we can really hit, these gamers specifically that have been using these digital currencies, that are acquiring these digital collectibles. We're just not calling them crypto and not calling them non-fungible tokens. It's our job as game developers to really show them, hey, like, bring them along slowly. Let them know, like, we'll hold your hand. You don't need a wallet to sign up to play the game. You can even earn money within Undead Blocks without having a wallet at all. Like, when we have our sponsored tournaments, you mentioned PokeStarter. Seems like a PokeStarter show here, but they gave us $10,000 to run a free-to-play tournament. We had over 5,000 participants, and you didn't even need to have a wallet until you earned the soft crypto, and then if you wanted to swap it for real crypto, you had to link a wallet. So I think that is the way forward for mass adoption. Show people it's not so scary. Lead their hand along. I really want Undead Blocks to feel like Coinbase Learn and Earn. You come in, you earn a couple bucks. Maybe it's enough to buy pizza and hang out with your friends, have a social game. But bringing people into the industry, bringing people into Web3, maybe you want to buy a loot coffin or two because you want to get a cool weapon skin that you can flex on your friends. So that's really how we see the game, and I think that's what's going to allow us to be the most successful.
I want to ask you a slightly controversial question, and I don't pride myself on kind of gotcha journalism, and I'm asking this question with love and as a gamer myself. So, skins. I completely agree with you. I played CS:GO. I was actually taking my afternoon break, my lunch just before this. Had a quick game of Dota. I've spent God knows how many dollars in Dota over the years, but with both of those, there was a point where Steam allowed me to trade those items outside of the Steam marketplace. And you had the websites where you could go and sell them for real money. And that all got shut down. And it's no secret that one of the main reasons that Valve decided to shut all of that down was because of the increase in gambling that was being done with the skins. So CSGO skin gambling. When it comes to NFTs that have value, which are skins, we could see the similar things start to arise, and maybe there are already sites that I'm not aware of. But as Web3 gaming grows, it is likely that those items that you're creating at the moment will, because they have value, could start to be used as value for online casinos, which can attract kids, which is one of the main sort of issues. I personally feel that there are checks and limits and balances that go on the gambling side, and the onus is on that. But what's your kind of take on that future, in that through that success, as we grow with Web3 gaming, that is going to be something that's going to become a question, is how do we protect children from the predators out there that are going to start to want to push the sort of gambling thing on them?
It's definitely a very interesting topic. I think even if we take a step back and you look at what was going on with FTX, and Sam Bankman-Fried is sponsoring the NBA arena, and how many kids are coming into the arena and saying, wow, I want to go to FTX arena. And then all of a sudden they're derivatives trading at 19.
Great point.
This is absolutely happening in our social circles today, whether people like it or not. Even with the rise of, I live in the US, like DraftKings and FanDuel, plastering all over these sporting events where a lot of people take their kids to. It's definitely an issue, and that's why within Undead Blocks you have to be 18 up to play. Obviously, you have a level of anonymity. I butchered that word hard. We'll edit that one out, but you can be anonymous, right? You can play and you can say whatever you are on the internet. I think that's we try to shy away from the gambling aspect. What we want to make Undead Blocks feel like is COD Zombies crossed with Mario Kart, where you come in, you hit the blood box or the Z box, and you get a random power up. Maybe you earn the Z bucks, and then you can go get those loot coffins for free. If you have an opportunity for people to grind for free to earn something, I think it gives you a lot of closure from that perspective of this is not just, you're not here to gamble. If we want to upsell people on in-game cosmetics because they want to buy a couple of loot coffins to rip with their friends, so be it. But we give people a clear and honest model. Hey, you do not need to spend $1 in this game to earn. It's just going to take you a long time, but it gives you a path to say, okay, we're not just bringing in degenerates and speculators, and let's call a spade a spade. We all got into crypto, a lot of us, because we wanted a token that was going to go 50, 100x. I think that's where a lot of the Web3 gamers exist. And so it's just managing that dichotomy is important, but that's why we give people the path, free to own, completely, you don't need to buy anything or participate in any DeFi pool, nothing. Just come play the game, hang out. If you grind it long enough, you can earn some in-game assets, sell them if you want. And I think having that option is important for Web3 games, just so, it's not you're coming in and buying $1,000 piece of land and speculating that it's going to go up in value. I think that's very, very tough to sell to a 17-year-old who's probably making $8.25 an hour. So,
and that already exists. I mean, you can look at like Star Citizen or Scam Citizen, as some people call it. Like, people have literally spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, like average people, in that game. And again, they're just leasing those digital assets from Star Citizen. It's not anything that they own. And again, I'm not putting the onus on you in terms of the gambling side, because I ultimately think like kids should be able to embrace the NFT technology. So again, so that parents don't have to go out and buy more V-Bucks or more games. The kid can be like, right, well, I want to grind this, so I'm going to. And I know there are some examples of it. I know my nephew, there are ways to grind the Fortnite Battle Pass to get enough tokens to get in the next year's Battle Pass or next season's. But that's kind of one of the few examples of that kind of grind where you can get real rewards that aren't related to money. So I think it's a shame. And I say, I'm not asking you to have the answer to the gambling thing, but it's just one of those things that I can see it coming, and it's really frustrating that it's going to come. And I really wish that it wouldn't. And I think it's just interesting to discuss it early on to see if we can figure out as an industry how we can get ahead of that with the messaging and language before all the Karens come in and tell us that, oh no, my kid's gambling because they've got an NFT. It's like, well, no, they've actually got a skin you didn't have to pay for because they grinded it through playing.
Yeah, and that's really the key. Is you look at a game developer and they're saying, we're going to provide you as much entertainment as you can handle. We're going to give you as many dopamine hits as we can, and you're going to give us money. And that's really the gamer developer relationship from these top Web 2 game studios. They come out and say, we're going to make this game as fun, and we're going to hire a psychologist to make it as addicting as possible. And we're going to prey on people's, inability to curb their spending. And you're going to give us the money, and you're going to like it. And Web3 games can say, yeah, you guys are going to give us money. You're going to pay for stuff, but we'll allow you to sell it. Every other industry in the world, I actually almost every other industry in the world, you can sell what you buy. You can sell a house. You can sell a car. I could sell my Undead Blocks neon sign back here if anyone wants it. You can buy and sell anything in the world, but in video games, they have a monopoly on just, we'll take your money, but we'll give you entertainment. And there are some games where you can resell your items, and this is just more of a blanket statement. But the ability to just play a game on your phone, double click Apple Pay, and all of a sudden, boom, you get more candies and Candy Crush. Like that's the problem that we have, is they've hired psychologists to really prey on people's inhibitions, and they're hiding it under the guise of, we're providing fun. Yeah, you're providing fun, but you're also you're making it very difficult for the average player to really own their assets, talk about the value of asset ownership. I think that's actually a problem just within kids today, is they're not taught in school personal finance. They're not taught how to invest. They're taught these different they're taught hey, I want you to follow rule XYZ ABC. Like, I went to school for math. We're talking about my career. I went to school for math, and I didn't use any of the math that I learned, differential equations, geometry, in the real world. So I think it starts young, and from a Web3 game developer's perspective, we have to incentivize asset ownership. And that's why within our ecosystem, we say play to earn's undead, because if you can come and make a couple bucks a day, Like, we're not promising anyone to be millionaires. It's all about the messaging and expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very comfortable sharing some of the revenue we generate in free to play and giving it back to our community in terms of tournaments or daily play. We're totally comfortable doing that. I think it's just good marketing. So really, it's very interesting conversation, but there's so many different ways we could take it.
Yeah, I agree. And for me, like some of the key elements as well, you'll probably be experiencing is I think through NFTs and play and earn, play to earn, whatever you want to call it, you can help balance the game. So when a game comes out, you've got casual gamers, hardcore gamers, and Twitch streamers, and they all have to love it, but they all want to play it in a different way. And that's always one of the difficulties. Like, you know, finally look at a game like, say, Destiny 2. Like, Destiny 2's popularity drops when people stop streaming it, but the player base might increase a little bit overall because they've made it a bit easier to collect new skins and items and stuff in the game. But when you can do that, then the Twitch streamers get bored because they've done everything. But what I love is through, like, say, NFTs and rewards, you can give rewards for the world's first of X, Y, and Z and make it a really limited edition thing. You can give people small amounts of rewards to grind those skins, like you say. And I just think that's, for me, one of the most interesting things, because you nailed it in my view exactly, in that keeping users engaged and retaining them is, like, most games are a game as a service now, and we need that. And I think NFTs and blockchain are one of the coolest ways to do that. Is that anything that you've kind of had similar experience with building the game?
100%. And we're just going to get really into this, where we launched Undead Blocks last Tuesday and we had a huge influx of players. We had over 10,200 players sign on the first day. Brilliant. It's crazy. And a lot of people were coming in and saying, "Oh my God, this is great. I'm earning money." And there were a lot of people coming in saying, "Why am I not a millionaire yet?" Like, they're saying, "We need more rewards. We need more. And then people are saying, "When can I upgrade my NFTs? When can I cash out?" Like, there's just so many different mouths to feed in gaming. Mm-hmm. And so you have to take the ethos of, skill agnostic, platform agnostic, chain agnostic. It's impossible to keep everyone happy. Like you said, you're going to have people that are going to want to min-max, that are going to want to say, okay, there's not many players playing at 2:00 in the morning. That's when I'm going to grind Undead Blocks because I have a higher chance of hitting a high Z box and getting paid. Then you're going to have the people that say, I want to just squat up with my friends. You're going to have the streamers say, I'm going to give away 20 loot coffins on stream, retweet, like, comment, and follow and grow their socials. There's many different ways that you have to keep these people engaged, especially from a Web3 game. I'm pretty close with Mythical Games, and they made Blanco's Block Party, and we talk to their executives all the time, and they ask us, like, how are you retaining all of these players? One is, look, I'm in my Discord every single day, and I am answering questions. I'm on the front lines. People can get a hold of me. They can ask me questions. You can't talk to the CEO of Activision or Epic or Treyarch. You can't reach these people and give them your feedback on the game. And when people give us feedback on the game, we listen. We can't implement everything. Like, I can't implement flying zombies right now. I can't implement player versus zombie mode. Like, there's many things that these people are so passionate about this game. Just make them feel heard and make them feel like their ideas are in the pipeline and they'll be around forever. Because everyone, I secretly think everyone wants that one game where they feel like they have influence or they were early on. Everyone likes to talk about, I was in Fortnite before it came Fortnite, right? Like, everyone remembers, like, the first COD Zombies map, Knock Their Own to 10, and they used to grind that game. I think that's where you have to get this, brand loyalty, and these players will be with you for life. Brand and player loyalty is much more difficult in Web3, I believe, than Web2, because if there's money involved, if the money stops flowing in, how do you continue to retain your player base? That's where Axie went wrong. Is they grew so quickly. They kept selling all these pixies and ETH. They were hyper-inflating the amount of NFTs to feed, and they just couldn't keep anyone happy. And then people realized, wait a minute, I'm not playing this game for nothing. I'm not just going to sit and get a sore back and click the mouse. Like, I'm going to do something else with my time. And that's, we want to make sure that Undead Blocks is a social experience. It's a fun game that you can come and hang out with. It's a tried and true gameplay loop. And I think we have a really good opportunity to retain those players and keep them around for a decade.
So your background, just pulling up sort of your LinkedIn, M&T Bank, Bank of Hope, Goldman Sachs, Liberty Mutual Insurance, Independent Health, like, that doesn't read like a CV of the founder of a game studio. What happened? My feeling is one day you were sat at home playing Left 4 Dead, realizing that the online community wasn't as big as it should be anymore. Like, I love this game. I hate banks. I'm going to go do a crypto game.
Honestly, I was just sick and tired of making rich people richer. I mean, you look at those companies and they're all Fortune 100 level companies.
Hmm.
Bank of Hope was a small Korean bank that I worked at in LA. But yeah, I was an FP&A director at Goldman Sachs. I was in sec lending, and I was playing a different type of video game where I sit
Hmm.
in Microsoft Excel all day and try to make rich people richer. Like it just wasn't the fun. It actually felt like Axie Infinity. Click the mouse and just
Yeah.
earn money. Like that's
Hmm.
literally how I felt. And then the pandemic rolled around and I was working from home and I was just like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Like, what kind of impact can I have on the world here? Like, at least like give me something where I can, try to bring people joy. Like working in banking is actually very soul sucking, believe it or not.
Yeah,
I know
I
a lot
completely.
of people like, I
I
know
did.
we talked offline about this, but it's incredibly soul sucking. But yeah, I'll let you chime in there. I'll keep going after.
No, I was going to say I did exactly the same thing. I ran a marketing agency for 15 years, and during COVID, did the same thing. Like, I hate marketing. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And went into journalism, which is something I've always wanted to do, and realized at 36, screw it. I'm getting rid of my company. I'm going to go do journalism in Web3 because I think crypto is going to change the world.
And
And then I
and keep
found gaming on blockchain, and then that was it. I was in love.
and we can always go back to those worlds. When you are a high performer and you leave your industry, there will always be a door back for you. I don't want to have to go back to banking. I want to build web3 games for the rest of my life. Now, we only raised 1.7 million in a seed round. We did 2.4 million dollars in NFT sales. So we have $4 million in the door, and we've already developed one game in a year where people are able to earn sustainably, and we can run this game for years. Like, I want to be the poster child and the model for sustainable tokenomics. That's our strength, is even on the rest of our team. You look at Michael Branson, he's a fully credentialed actuary. If you guys don't know what actuaries do, they price insurance for people. They predict the probability of death, the probability of getting in a car accident. He's using his skills to develop a tokenomics model. And
Very
basically,
cool. That's interesting.
every time we issue a reward, what's the probability somebody actually redeems it for cash? And so we see people's withdrawal history, and we can create these scenarios where every time someone withdraws, it's like a loss. So we're using actuarial techniques within our tokenomics model to basically create a sustainable structure. And one thing is, a lot of people don't like that. Like, they want to feel like they're in on early on a Ponzi, and that's just not going to happen with Undead Blocks. You're going to make $2, $3, $4 a day, maybe max, and like you could get really lucky and hit like, I'll give you an example. There's this Z-Box mechanic. That's when I say we're Mario Kart. You're killing zombies instead of getting like insta-kill, double points like OG COD zombies. You get this box and it pops up, and it's probably going to have green or gold Z-Box. Like, you could make $100. Like, one of our scholars yesterday just hit $100 Z-Box, paid for his rent for an entire month. Now, that's extremely rare. Like, that's not going to happen to every person every day, but it can happen. And I think that's where people really like that ability to have the opportunity to get a reward. Our players are playing this game for fun, and the rewards are rare, but when they happen, they get really excited, and they don't have that experience in Web 2. You can play Fortnite for hours on end, and you never have an opportunity to win $5, $10. So
Well,
I like that mechanic. It's important for us to note that.
I think the equivalent for me would be like CS:GO crate openings,
Yep.
where people would literally spend like $2,000 buying keys and then just open crates on a live stream, and people would watch that because
Yeah.
they couldn't do it themselves because it's too much money. Where you say
Yeah.
when you've got rewards in game, you can play the game and do that stuff yourself.
Yeah. And the best part is in our ecosystem, you don't even need to buy the keys.
Yeah.
You can just grind for the coffin, then open it. You can save up 200 as a streamer and just open up 200 coffins, maybe get something sick, give them away. Like, we're not making you pay for the keys. Now, how we monetize is if you want to buy a higher end coffin, then go ahead. They're $8. Like, we don't force that on people. So I think it's a really great way to get people to come in, play for fun, hang out with their friends. But in terms of my career, like, listen, the opportunities that exist in Web3 are absolutely mind-blowing. Like, a kid from a farm in Western New York can build a Web3 game that reaches the masses, that 10,000 people want to play in Web3. I could never do that in Web2 because people would say, you didn't work at Epic, you didn't work at Treyarch, you didn't work at EA. And I'm like, I don't fucking need to work there. I know I know what I want in a video game because I play them every day. I can find smart developers that can code this up, and we go to work. Like, that's where this provides opportunity. You do not need a college degree. You do not need to be part of an exclusive club. There's no nepotism in Web3. There's none of that. It's just Smart people can come in, they have great ideas, and they can put them to task, and they can really just flex this new tech where you're able to, everything's visible on the blockchain. You can buy, sell, and trade whatever you want. I really like that. I think that crypto got a black eye from what happened with FTX, but it might be the best thing that happened for us because it's removing a lot of bad actors, and the people that want to stay and make a difference and really impact and change the world, they're going to still have their opportunity to do so.
Could not agree more. And to say you're at ETH Denver as well, I'm sure you'll agree the sentiment there was nothing but bullish on the ecosystem, on the infrastructure, on the developments. As I always tell people who don't go to these conferences, every time I come back, no one was talking about the price of Bitcoin. No one cares. We just care about building and the infrastructure. The price is kind of secondary at this point. Very different to the last bull run now, I feel.
Yep, I completely agree. And I'll touch on that quickly. When you're walking around at ETH Denver, you're not just getting the people that show up because they've were paid to go. You're getting in this market, you're getting the people that want to be there and want to have these discussions and these conversations. It's not even just as much about like physically being at the conference. It's about striking up conversations with like-minded people. This is where the builders build. A lot of conversations that were had at ETH Denver are probably going to spur technology or products or innovations from 6 to 12 months from now that we would have never known or never knew we needed. Like, that is the power of some of this stuff, is bringing like-minded people together. I know that the ethos of web3 is private, decentralized, not centralized. That's the same thing, right? But then you go to these conferences and you meet and you listen to their stories of how people got here. And it's really just fascinating to see so many like-minded individuals in one space being able to talk about something that they love. And I think that's where people do their best work.
Fantastic. I couldn't agree more. Well, congratulations on the launch. If people do want to join all those other players, just undeadblocks.com.
Yep, undeadblocks.com. All you have to do is sign up for a Wagyu account. That's the Wagyu Games, our parent company. It's completely free. So you just need an email and a password. You can log in. You can download the beta. Give it a try. You can start earning some green Z-Bucks, which you can eventually swap for those loot coffins, which have the weapon skins in them. If you would like to be a VIP within the Undead Blocks ecosystem, you can buy a weapon NFT that gives you access to daily earnings pools. It also gives you access to boosted Z-Bucks earnings for some of those loot coffins. And you could access to special tournaments as well. So it's really exciting times for us at Wagyu. Head over to undeadblocks.com. Give it a try. We really want your feedback. If you've ever played Call of Duty, COD Zombies, any shooter, let us know. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. We've got a lot of changes on the go, but we're excited to keep building and keep iterating the product.
And the link to the Discord is at the bottom of the page where it says it's zombie killing time. If you do want to join the Discord, as Grant said, he's in there answering questions. Can't guarantee that he will answer your question, but there's going to be a lot of people in there, but you can talk to the community. Grant, it's been an absolute pleasure. I love the game. I'm going to be having a bit of more of a play this evening, I feel. Thank you very much for joining us. And anything else you want to say before we go?
Guys, definitely support our content creators. Crypto Slate's been doing the Lord's work for us, boots on the ground with all these different games and projects. It's an absolute pleasure to be on the show, and looking forward to doing it again sometime.
Fantastic. Grant, thank you very much. And for everyone else, we'll see you on the next episode of SlateCast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I have to say that. YouTube algorithm makes me. And other than that, see you next time. Goodbye.